Imagine walking into your favorite cafe, ordering a latte, and paying without a card, phone, or even a wallet. You simply glance at a scanner, and it knows who you are. No PIN, no swiping, no tapping. It feels like something out of a science fiction movie. And yet, biometric payment systems, whether through fingerprint scans, facial recognition, or palm prints, are no longer futuristic concepts. They're here. So why aren't we all using them? Despite the hype, biometric payments have struggled to become mainstream. Big players like Amazon, MasterCard, and Apple have poured millions into the tech. In some parts of the world, China for instance, biometric systems are already integrated into daily life. But in places like the US and Europe, the rollout has been slow, hesitant, and often met with skepticism. Why? Is it a matter of privacy, trust, or something deeper? Something that says more about our values, fears, and the invisible costs of convenience. In this video, we're diving into the promises and pitfalls of biometric payment systems. We'll look at what's working, what's stalling, and the hidden concerns that don't always make headlines. We'll hear from people on the ground, from Reddit skeptics to YouTube enthusiasts, and trace the path of a technology that was supposed to revolutionize the way we pay. Biometric payments were pitched as seamless, secure, and inevitable. So, what's stopping them from taking over your local checkout line? Let's begin with the first place they started showing up, then started disappearing: retail stores. In 2021, Amazon began rolling out Amazon One, a palm scanning payment system in select stores. The idea was simple: link your palm to a payment method, and you could pay with a wave of your hand. Amazon touted it as fast, frictionless, and more hygienic, a nod to post-pandemic sensibilities. But within a year, the rollout stalled. Some Whole Foods locations reversed course, and public enthusiasm ranged from cautious to outright alarmed. Retailers are discovering what technologists often overlook. Just because a technology works doesn't mean people will use it or trust it. Let's start with infrastructure. Implementing biometric systems in retail settings isn't cheap. According to a report by Biometric Update, each payment terminal with biometric capabilities can cost hundreds more than traditional ones. Factor in installation, maintenance, and employee training, and the costs multiply. For many small and mid-sized retailers, that kind of investment doesn't offer clear ROI, especially when credit cards and mobile wallets already work fine. Even big players are hesitant. In a Reddit thread discussing Amazon One, one user noted, "It's like they're trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist. Tapping my phone already takes 2 seconds." This highlights a key issue. Convenience is relative. If biometric payments only shave off 1 or 2 seconds per transaction, is that worth surrendering biometric data for? There's also the issue of adoption rates. A 2023 Pew Research study found that only 31% of Americans felt comfortable using facial recognition for payments, and even fewer trusted companies to store their biometric data securely. After multiple high-profile data breaches, think Equifax, Facebook, and even the US government's OPM hack, many consumers are wary of giving away something they can't change: their face, their fingerprints, or their palm veins. On YouTube, comments under videos showing Amazon One in action often echo this discomfort. What happens when my biometric data is hacked? I can't reset my face like a password. This anxiety isn't unfounded. While companies claim biometric data is encrypted and stored securely, sometimes even locally rather than in the cloud, most users don't understand or trust those assurances. The lack of transparency fuels further skepticism. From a retailer's perspective, there's also the issue of legal liability. In places like Illinois, strict biometric privacy laws, like the Biometric Information Privacy Act, make companies legally responsible for how they collect, store, and use biometric data. In fact, Facebook was forced to pay out a $650 million settlement for violating that very law. Faced with uncertain consumer sentiment, legal risk, and questionable ROI, many retailers are playing it safe. Biometric payment kiosks are being quietly removed or shelved in pilot stages. For every flashy launch announcement, there are dozens of quiet retreats. It turns out that even in a digital age, trust and practicality still outweigh tech novelty. For many people, biometric payments don't just raise eyebrows, they raise red flags. When Amazon introduced its palm scanning tech, the backlash wasn't just about hardware costs or speed. It was about who controls your body data and what they might do with it. The phrase, "you are the product," comes to mind. But with biometric systems, you're not just the product, you're also the password. That makes the stakes much higher. In Reddit discussions and YouTube comment sections, concerns frequently circle back to one core fear: surveillance creep. Users express unease that biometric payment systems are not standalone tools, but components of broader surveillance ecosystems. One Redditor on R-Futurology put it bluntly, "If Amazon knows what I buy, when I buy it, and can match that to my biometric data, they know everything. That's dystopian." These fears aren't just speculative. In China, facial recognition is already deeply integrated into everyday life, from subway entry to classroom attendance to monitoring public behavior. While some praise the efficiency, others warn that such systems enable authoritarian control. Critics often cite China's social credit system, where behavior tracked via biometric surveillance can affect everything from job prospects to travel rights. The West has been more hesitant, but the infrastructure is growing. In the US, cities like New York and San Francisco have already passed laws restricting facial recognition in public spaces. Why? Because of fears around misuse, racial bias, and lack of oversight. A landmark study by MIT Media Lab revealed that facial recognition systems from major tech firms had much higher error rates for darker-skinned individuals, particularly women. If your ability to pay, travel, or access services depends on a scan, a glitch becomes more than just an inconvenience. It becomes systemic discrimination. Despite this, companies continue pitching biometric payments as the future. MasterCard recently piloted facial recognition payments in Brazil and the Middle East. Their promotional videos show smiling consumers breezing through checkout lines with a nod to a camera. But the comments below tell another story. They make it look easy, but who's watching on the other side? And then there's the issue of data permanence. You can change your password, you can cancel a credit card, but you can't change your fingerprint. If that data leaks, it's not just an identity theft problem, it's a lifelong vulnerability. To many consumers, the trade-off isn't worth it. What's being sold as seamless and secure feels more like surrender. That's especially true for younger generations who've grown up watching companies abuse data. Gen Z is digital first, but privacy conscious. A 2023 Kaspersky report found that 63% of Gen Z users were very concerned about biometric tracking, even more so than older generations. So while biometric systems may be marketed as next-gen tech, many people see them as a next-gen threat, a surveillance network disguised as convenience. Tech companies love to frame innovation as inevitable. If it's new, it must be better. But with biometric payments, a strange contradiction has emerged. The solution is ahead of the problem. Tap-to-pay cards, digital wallets, and mobile payments already offer fast, secure transactions. Apple Pay and Google Pay are widely accepted, and for many users, they're not just convenient, they're familiar. So when companies introduce something like facial recognition or palm scanning, people naturally ask, why? That question resonates across platforms like Reddit and Hacker News, where many users feel the push for biometric payments is more about corporate ambition than consumer demand. One commenter nailed the sentiment: "We already have secure, contactless payments, so who benefits from biometrics?" This mismatch between innovation and actual need reflects a larger trend in tech: shiny but shallow features that overpromise and underdeliver. In a 2022 Capgemini study, only 17% of global consumers said they'd actually use biometric payments more than once. And most of those interactions happen in controlled environments, like a single retailer's pilot program or a university campus cafeteria. Meanwhile, companies continue to promote these systems as the future. Amazon claims its palm scanning system is safer and more secure, even though there's little public evidence it provides more protection than existing methods. What's really being sold is the illusion of progress, a frictionless, hands-free lifestyle we didn't necessarily ask for. In some cases, biometric systems have even made things worse. Take India's Aadhaar program, a nationwide biometric ID system used for everything from banking to food distribution. Though groundbreaking in scope, it's also faced serious criticism for data leaks, technical failures, and exclusion of marginalized groups who couldn't provide consistent biometric scans. What was meant to increase efficiency, instead, exposed how easily tech can widen existing inequities. There's also a psychological element at play. When people are asked to use their body as a payment method, it introduces a strange intimacy. It's not just tap and go anymore. It's scan your face, show your hand, or prove your identity. As one YouTube commenter joked, "When I pay with my palm, I feel like I'm clocking into work, not buying a sandwich." This awkwardness reflects something deeper. Many people aren't ready for their body to become their wallet. We've already ceded so much to algorithms, tracking pixels, and smart devices. Biometric payments feel like the next, and perhaps final, frontier of personal data extraction. Yet the narrative of inevitability persists. Companies frame resistance as temporary discomfort, not thoughtful dissent. But what if the hesitation isn't about being anti-tech? What if it's a rational pause to ask, is this actually better? Because in the race to innovate, we rarely stop to question whether the finish line is one we actually want to cross. Biometric payments were supposed to be the next big leap, a world where you could pay with your face, your finger, your palm. Seamless, fast, futuristic. But what we've seen instead is hesitation, skepticism, and in many cases, quiet rejection. Retailers are backing off, not because the tech doesn't work, but because consumers don't trust it, and in some cases, don't want it. The privacy risks are real. The surveillance concerns are growing. And perhaps most importantly, the problem biometrics aim to solve was never really a problem at all. We already have efficient, secure ways to pay. What biometric systems offer in convenience, they often lack in transparency, accountability, and trust. And when the cost is our most personal data we can't change or revoke, it forces a deeper question. What are we really trading for that extra 2 seconds of speed? As we navigate a world increasingly shaped by digital systems and automation, it's easy to get swept up in the momentum of innovation. But not all progress is linear, and not all tech deserves adoption simply because it exists. So before we hand over our faces and fingerprints at the checkout line, maybe we should pause. Maybe we should ask, not just can we, but should we? What kind of future are we building when even our ability to pay becomes a form of biometric surveillance? And more importantly, do we still have a choice?